KVCR. I'm David Fleming. Later in the program, it's jazz flutist Tim Weisberg. He'll be in Hemet for the Diamond Valley Arts Council's Wine, Art, and Jazz series. First, though, Emmanuel Rodgers, once again, checking out A Taste of Colton and the 3rd Annual Museum Day in Colton.
We are speaking with Mario Suarez. He is a board member and event coordinator of the 3rd Annual Taste of Colton, sponsored by the Culinary Museum and Historical Society. Thanks for joining us, Mario.
Thank you for having me here.
Now, Mario, will you first tell us a little bit about the Colton Area Museum and Historical Society?
Sure. The Colton Area Museum is housed at the 1908 Carnegie Library, built over 100 years ago. The Colton Area Museum was established by Miss Olson, who was a painter, author, in 1991. So we're going on 25 years now of existing. Okay. The museum is the keeper of history of the city of Colton, which was established in 1887. There's a lot of great history going back. I'm not sure if many people know that the Earp family of Tucson and the Earp days of Wyatt Earp did settle here with Virgil Earp and his father, and there's deep history. In fact, there is some descendants of the Earp family that currently still live here.
So now, did the Earps come at about the same time as the Mormons?
The Mormons came a little earlier, but the Earps came after the OK Corral over in Tombstone, Arizona, and the father happened to live in Colton, who was a big influence of the city. And after that OK Corral fight, as you know, there was an ambush of one of the brothers, and he was killed. And Virgil Earp ended up bringing the other brother's body here, who was actually buried in the cemetery here in Colton.
Wow. And
Virgil Earp ended up being our first marshal.
Mario, if you wouldn't mind, will you also tell us a little bit about who you are and what your role is in this Taste of Colton event?
Sure. Well, I'm a newcomer to the museum. I'm a senior planner with the city of Colton. I was fortunate enough to be asked to be part of the board there at the Colton Area Museum, and I took that position about a little bit over a year ago. So we have been holding the Museum Day, which is part of the May is National Museum Month program. This is our 3rd year we hold it. So this year they thought, Mario, why don't you give it a shot? And so I saw, I had this idea in mind. Why don't we try the Taste of Colton? So it started off an idea of food. And that, as I started getting into the program, the Taste of Colton became Taste of Colton with art and culture and music and authors. And eventually what has happened with the Museum Day is that we've had interests from local authors in Colton, as well as folks that own music store in town. That's the Ibarra family, and they own IB Music Center. And they are actually helping us, and they're volunteering about anywhere from $5,000 to $10,000 worth of equipment.
Wow.
We're providing the stage, a 12 by 16 stage with a backdrop, to house some local talent. The Ibarra family actually are high school graduates of Colton High School. And off of that offshoot also comes Tanya and the Nuevo Era. They do a variety of rhythms in Spanish as well as 40s music, some Mexican traditional as well. A very talented group led by Tanya. We're also happy to say that the day will have 4 hours of music and entertainment. We're also bringing in a clown and a magic show, which is sponsored by one of our restaurants, Caliche Town. They said, Mario, we're not going to provide food, but I tell you what, we're going to give you some money to sponsor the event, and I'm going to bring you a clown and a magic show for kids. What you'll find in Colton are unique restaurants.
Yes.
There's a Jamaican restaurant. There's a Thai restaurant. There's an Indian restaurant. Beautiful cuisine. You'll find 2 sushi restaurants. So there's a variety of these unique restaurants in town, which was kind of the impetus behind the idea to bring these restaurants together. And you can see the Taste of Colton is diverse. And so we're hoping to have that when you come to the event, and more, a lot more.
The things you're talking about right now are going to make most of our audience want to get up and go eat right then and there, which will kind of spoil some things for May 9th because we'll already be full.
Yeah, there you go. Well, I tell you what, while you're there, you could walk it off, because we're also having a demonstration of the 8th Street improvements. And that's part of something called Tactical Urbanism, which comes from the Congress of the New Urbanism California chapter, which I'm also a member of and a board member of. And that's where we actually get to change the landscape of a street to what it could be, doing some short-term action for long-term goals, which is actually part of the downtown plan that we're working on right now. And that's going to go to Planning Commission in June 28th. So that's a draft plan that will provide a nice vision and updates its codes to bring in and revitalize the downtown as it used to be, which is a downtown with a trolley and an actual skyline and a movie theater and a lot of commerce and high-story buildings where things in space were defined so that you felt urban and you really felt that you were somewhere where you could work, play, and also enjoy and recreate. And so we're hoping to bring that back, and you'll see a lot of new projects. Maybe on a different interview we could talk about what's happening in Colton. But that'll be happening too on 8th Street, and it'll be a cool demonstration project. A nursery, Serrano Nursery, will be providing the plants, and this will be a live change to the street. You'll be able to park and be part of something called the cycle track, which is a demonstration of a bike path, which is actually protected. So you'll see that, and you get to see what that means when I say that.
But now, this is the 3rd annual Museum Day Taste of Colton.
It is.
So the first and second events,
yes.
What was it like for the people to come out?
Sure. The museum celebrates the museum, through the National Museum Month.
Okay.
And the first year was celebrated through celebrating the veterans, honoring them. We've honored 12 veterans of World War II, and that was led by our current council member, Dr. G. We must have had anywhere from 300 to 700 people there, including a band and speeches and everything. So that was our first museum day. And that was 2014. 2015, we went back in time and we provided some games and happenings that were taking place during an early era of late 1800s and 1900s of the town. So you were able to play games and experience things like that and experience the museum's displays that also provide some information on what the city used to look like, including images and other artifacts that the museum has.
What types of events are you going to have this event? Because it sounds like you have a lot going on for the people to come out and check out.
We do, and I'm sorry about that, but we got to keep people entertained, and so we got to bring people in. We do have some sponsors who support what we're doing there. So the Taste of Colton was started by thinking about maybe bringing some food together, and that turned into music, that turned into bringing in authors, in addition to literary groups such as the Inlandia Institute, who represents literary groups, and they'll be there with their books. You'll be able to look at different displays and booths. You'll also see from there'll be some special guests. Three Iron Brewing Company will be out at the museum. They will be serving beer and wine from 12 to 3 p.m. The Three Iron Brewing Company has an interesting story about their name. It actually is golf themed. That's not what they're about. They actually were brewing some beer, and one of the members of the owners, Richard or David, pulled out a 3-iron and started mixing their stuff in the pot that they were mixing it in, and it worked.
Really?
It worked, and it turned out to be good luck for them, so that they named their business 3-Iron Brewery. 3-Iron Brewery is actually the first microbrewery in town. I'm lucky enough to have actually processed their permits, and we got them approved through the Planning Commission of the city, and so we have our first microbrewery in town, one of the first of many. The other is the French restaurant that came from San Bernardino. Everybody knows the Le Rendezvous Cafe. They've been in San Bernardino for 30 years.
Right.
30 years. They didn't get their lease renewed, so the chef, Emmanuel, came into our counter there at the city of Colton and said, "Hey, I'm thinking of opening a business here at the corner of Valley and 9. And I said, "Really? Why don't you tell me a little bit about your business?" "Well, we're a French restaurant with a little Creole. We'd like to open up here at this location." I said, "Well, that sounds like a great idea. Let's get it done." And so they're operating. They've got the beer and wine license now. They are a wonderful restaurant, a real fine restaurant who will be in attendance at the event. You'll get those folks. Believe it or not, we got a newcomer coming, Chopper's Tacos. Now that's themed as well, related to classic cars and motorcycles. How American could you get? But also, how, I couldn't have prepared this any better. I got to tell you, the timing was just brilliant. These guys are coming in full force. They'll have their motorcycles out there, their barbecues. So that's just a little taste of what's happening.
Let's remind our audience where the event is going to be held and who is it open to.
So this is open to the public, so everyone is invited. We've got a great Facebook event page, and it'll be at 380 North La Cadena Drive in Colton. That's 92324 for those of you who are punching it in your map devices. It's really easy to get to, just off the freeway. You get off of the 10 freeway, whether you're going east or west on the 10, get off on 9th, You'll see the Starbucks, and right away you'll start seeing the Taste of Colton with Starbucks and a French restaurant. A couple of blocks and you're there.
All right, now what is the website that people would go to find out more information about the event on May 9th?
Log into your Facebook and Sabor de Colton or Taste of Colton. We're bilingual. And you'll get a little bit of the diversity that we'll be bringing that day on the 3rd Annual Museum Day on May 7th, 12 to 4 p.m.
Of course, we know there's going to be music, food, cycling, and there's going to be so much more at this Taste of Colton event. Will you tell us a little bit about what is the Museum Day and fundraising appeal about, and how can people help?
Like a lot of nonprofits, we rely on grants and money that is given to the organization. As you know, we have a facility that needs maintenance, so some of that will go towards the displays and updating the displays. The displays currently are in poor shape and really need to be updated. In addition to that, we've got lecture programs, and we have a website, and we have some marketing, and then we have some other programs related to historic preservation. The city has about 46 landmarks in town. You know, we need to do brochures, we need to do tours, we really need to do the correct marketing to continue the revitalization of the downtown and the healthy living that we hope to increase, because the location of Colton is just wonderful for people to move and live in, and to see it grow and develop into a more mature city, as the other cities are also doing the same. The museum has to do its part. And arts and culture, in terms of making place, is an important thing. And that's been advocated by one of our partners in crime, which is the Arts Connection out of the San Bernardino County. That's the Art Council of the San Bernardino County. And those folks are just a wonderful part of art and supporting art and providing also funding to make sure that art and culture flourish in the area. And so the museum preserves history and also invites history inside for preservation and for the stories to be told. The history of Colton goes back with the divide. There was a south and north situation. The south side being more of a Latin twist, and the north side, of course, being the other. Since that time, they've come together, and they keep coming together. So we're bringing in a group, actually, that grew out of Cal State San Bernardino, and they're preparing an oral history of South Colton, and they'll be present as well. The event will be held Saturday, May 7th, and it will be from 12 to 4 p.m. We will have the beer and wine garden open from 12 to 3 p.m. If we run out of that earlier, we may close it at 2, but as long as supplies last. And we're also going to have the display on 8th Street between 12 and 4. Just around the street, there's plenty of parking around the museum for folks to come and enjoy the event. It's not only about food. We'll have some authors there. We'll have the literary world there with the Inland Institute, the Arts Connection. We have so many other groups. We have the San Bernardino and Riverside Orchards Society. They'll be there as well.
Wow.
So you'll see a variety of cool things and interests that are related to the museum, but are related specifically to the city and the region around the city of Colton.
I want to thank you for taking time to come out and share with us this special event. This is on May 7th from 12 to 4.
Thank you. I certainly want to thank David Fleming and you, Emmanuel, for taking the time to do this interview with us. Thank you.
Emmanuel Rodgers in conversation with Mario Suarez. Again, a taste of Colton, and the 3rd Annual Museum Day in Colton is May 7th. More on Facebook, A Taste of Colton, or Sabor de Colton, either way. You're listening to KVC Arts and entertainment in our region, as well as the people and places providing it. I'm David Fleming.